like if you need something, like you could just say,
You're good to go, Sarah. We're ready for you now, Sarah. She's not hearing us. Possibly speak through here.
Does the meeting start at 5:30? Okay.
We're ready for you.
I can't see anybody else. You're ready for us to start our presentation? Can't hear you, Gail. I'm sorry.
We're ready for you.
Okay.
Good.
Well, hi, I'm Sarah Fox. I work for the city of Camas, and I have with me Melissa Mayu from Mosaic Consulting, and we're here to talk to you about the Camas Housing Action Plan that we've been working on since, well, we got delayed. We were supposed to start in March, but we started in August. And we'll just give you about a 10-15 minute overview of where we are today, and then we're looking forward to hearing some of your thoughts, and we'll go from there. I'll let Melissa take over.
Thanks, Sarah. I had some slides. It doesn't look like I'm able to share my screen, but I can also just talk through them if that works for everyone.
Looks like I can share screen, but I'd have to pull up your slide presentation.
Sure. Either way, I can just do it verbally if that's easier. Is that okay, Sarah, or are you looking?
Sure,
Okay.
or I'll just bring it up if.
Yeah, right.
I'll just walk everyone through it. Okay.
Thanks. Well, thanks for having us tonight and giving us a chance to share with you about the housing action plan that we've been working on. Kind of a quick overview of this project. It's something that the city of Camas received a grant from, can you go to the next slide, from the Washington State Department of Commerce for. And cities and counties throughout the state are working on housing action plans similar to this, designed to encourage greater housing diversity, improve affordability, and improve access to opportunity for people of all incomes. And this plan really fits within the housing goals that the city's comprehensive plan outlined. So that plan identified housing diversity and access for people of all incomes, and particularly housing for folks with special needs, so seniors or people with disabilities. Those are some of the goals that the comp plan outlines. And then the housing action plan will take them a little further and develop strategies that the city is going to look at for improving housing options here. Like Sarah mentioned, we began in August and did community engagement activities and kind of an existing conditions review throughout the fall of last year, and then moved into developing an action plan at the end of last year, beginning of this year, that has now been presented and refined to the city, to the Planning Commission, and to public stakeholders and residents. So really in that last phase of finalizing that and having it up for adoption by the City Council by July of this year.
And just wanted to say I'm really grateful to the school district for partnering with us on getting the outreach for this project out by allowing us to put some updates in the school newsletters to the families throughout this entire project has been wonderful. And we also had a nice partnership with one of the classrooms of high school students as well. So that's been really nice.
So certainly we have a pretty large document that outlines a lot of the research that came out of this housing action plan. You can go there. It's on the project website at letstalkcamushousing.us. So if that's something that interests you, definitely please check that out. You can also see results of all that outreach that the school district helped promote. Results of the survey, things like that are available in that document. But tonight I wanted to hit pretty quickly on some of the goals that came out of that research, and then some different types of strategies that the city is looking at for the next several years. So we identified four main goals through that quantitative and qualitative research done throughout the fall. The first is to continue developing housing to accommodate growth. We know based on the city's comprehensive plan that there is continued growth projected over the next 20 years, and that the city will need housing to accommodate new households expected to move in. We also have as a goal to diversify the housing mix. So over the past several years, most new development in Camas has been single family homes, typically homes, definitely the large majority greater than 2,000 square feet, many greater than 3,000 square feet. So pretty big single family homes. But we heard from folks throughout the engagements and through the data that we looked at that there would be a need for some different types of housing besides just single family homes. So some smaller housing types like cottage clusters, uh, duplex or triplex, multifamily housing, some different types of units that are kind of related to goal 3, perhaps going to be more affordable, but also might offer different physical qualities that people are looking for. So for example, we heard from several folks, from many folks through the survey, that there's a need for smaller single-story properties that seniors might be interested in. So even if someone is able to afford a larger home, that might not be what they're looking for now. So we have as a goal there, diversifying the housing mix. And then we also heard from people in the city and from looking at data that there is a need to address housing affordability. Housing within Camas, both on the for sale and rental side, is pretty expensive, probably not a surprise to anyone living or working there. And a good share of the population, I want to say about a quarter or so, are having difficulty affording housing. So that's something that we would have some strategies to address. And then finally, where there is existing housing in the city that is affordable, looking at strategies to preserve that. So the first group that we identified are strategies related to zoning. So things like updating density and lot or dimensional standards for some of the zoning districts in order to make sure that the types of housing the city is looking for are allowed to be built within their zoning recommendations. We also looked at opportunities to allow new housing types in some of the residential zones. For example, things like cottage clusters or duplex or triplexes, row houses, looking at opportunities to make them possible by right within different zoning districts, rather than something that would have to need additional approval from the city. Particularly in terms of row houses in mixed use and downtown commercial districts, trying to expand the opportunity for those types of housing there. And then finally, we talked about focusing on key areas in the city with residential potential, particularly a lot of that vacant, buildable residential land is in the north part of the city, north of the lake. So focusing on larger properties there that might have potential for rezoning or more detailed plans for the property, to make sure that they are identified, or that the type of housing the city would like to see is buildable on those properties. Another strategy that we've been discussing is that of developing an inclusionary housing policy. So these policies are ones that either require or encourage developers to include affordable housing as some share of units in their development. So for example, if a developer was looking at building, let's say 50 housing units, and the city had a policy that required that 10% of them be affordable, that would be 5 affordable housing units there. These can be, there's really a variety of types of inclusionary policies that are in place throughout the country. They can be something that's mandatory, like I mentioned, or something that's voluntary. So maybe developers who build some share of units as affordable are getting some other break, somewhere, some incentive for them to do that. The city already has an inclusionary policy in its multifamily tax exemption program. So in certain areas within the city, if developers include some units as affordable, they can get a tax exemption going forward for that residential portion of their projects. So looking at options to bolster that or try other inclusionary housing approaches in the city would fall under this strategy. Then we also talked about some strategies related to communication. So developing community conversations around housing and the idea of housing for all or housing affordability. Why does this matter in Camas? And that could be things like meetings like this, or we talked about perhaps a speaker series through the library, just looking for opportunities to keep this kind of momentum from this plan going and continue to do educational efforts around housing here. We also talked about taking the opportunity to build new partnerships and look at opportunities for different funding strategies. So building connections with affordable housing developers who work on properties for families or seniors, seeing if there are there places in Camas where there are some interest from affordable housing developers. If not, what kind of barriers are there? How could the city address those? Kind of making some of those initial inroads. Then also looking at opportunities for affordable homeownership and making sure that the city is capitalizing on available affordable housing funding sources as they come up. For example, the grant that funded this project was something the city was able to take advantage of when it was available. So certainly continuing to look for opportunities like that and be ready to capitalize on them when they do come up. This was a pretty quick overview of everything, but we would definitely encourage you to check out the website for the project, where you can download drafts of the plan and look at videos of other community meetings that we've had. And that again is letstalkcamushousing.us. And thanks again for the time tonight. I think, do we have time for questions as well?
It's a little strange when we can't see you guys. So. Well, if we're still in the meeting, I'd ask for feedback, if not tonight, but if you could email me at sfox@cityofcamas.us with some of your thoughts on other strategies to increase housing diversity and affordability, and particularly any considerations around concerns for your school, for the school district population, and that, and also any ideas on affordability around funding, like impact fees and whatnot. I know Planning Commission brought up some interest in taking a closer look at the city's impact fees. And so maybe the school district might also have some ideas around impact fees for schools as well.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Have any questions?